Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Tonight I want to reflect on the topic of sabr, also known as patience, and how it shapes our journey as Muslims. Patience is not simply about waiting for hardships to pass. It is about trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remaining steadfast even when things feel overwhelming. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes those who are patient as the one He is with. In Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 153, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who are patient. And if even the Prophet, those closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, faced overwhelming trials and needed patience, what does that say about the importance of patience in our own lives? Sabr is not just one thing, it comes in different forms depending on the situation. Scholars mention three types of sabr: patience in worship, patience in avoiding sin, and patience in trial. Patience in worship is about staying consistent in your obligations, even when things feel challenging. For example, waking up for Fajr every day, especially during long winters or when you're feeling tired, takes patience. Patience in avoiding sin, this is about resisting temptation, which can feel difficult when your desires push you in the opposite direction. Imagine a person tempted to earn money through haram means because you feel desperate. Choosing to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and stick to halal income even when it's hard is a form of sabr. Another example is guarding your tongue. Choosing not to gossip or lash out in anger takes patience and self-control. Patience in trials. This is perhaps the most relatable form of sabr for many of us. It's the ability to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when life doesn't go the way we planned. Consider a couple trying to have a child. Every doctor visit, every passing year, it can feel like a burden. Yet many couples find peace in remembering the story of Zakaria alayhi salam, who made dua for years before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with a child. Sabr is active, not passive. Patience doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. It's a choice to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wisdom and to keep moving forward even when the path feels hard. As one scholar said, sabr is the root of all good deeds. Without it, you can't maintain prayer, avoid sin, or endure hardship. Take the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, for example. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, as a child, was betrayed by his brothers. He was thrown into a well, sold to slavery, and later falsely accused and imprisoned. Yet through all this, Yusuf alayhi salam never lost hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Years later, when Yusuf alayhi salam reunited with his brothers, he did not seek revenge, yet he forgave them and said to them in Surah Yusuf, ayah 92, "No blame will there be upon you today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." His story shows us that patience leads to ultimate success, even if it takes time. Now let's reflect on Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam. Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam had everything. He had wealth, he had health, he has children, he has status, he had respect. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him by taking this all away from him. He lost his wealth, he lost his children, his health deteriorated until his body was afflicted with painful sores. Even his closest companions abandoned him. Yet, imagine the weight of that trial, losing everyone and everything. Yet Ayyub alayhi salam remained steadfast. He never complained about his situation. Instead, he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in dua and said in Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah 83, "Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful." He didn't ask why me or lose hope. He acknowledged his pain and trusted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. Eventually, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restored Ayyub alayhi salam's health, wealth, and family, rewarding him for his patience. What we learn from Ayyub alayhi salam is that patience isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about enduring the hardship while keeping your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strong. Now you might ask, how do I find patience when every part of me feels like giving up? You can find patience in the same manner that we fast completely certain that the adhan of Maghrib will eventually be called. Just like fasting, sabr is about holding on, knowing that relief will come, but how do we actually develop the patience? Here are 3 steps. Focus on the bigger picture, leaning on dua, and start small and build consistency. Focusing on the bigger picture is when you're in a trial, remind yourself this is temporary, while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's reward is eternal. The pain you're feeling now won't last forever, but the reward of your patience will. Second is leaning on dua. Dua is one of the most powerful tools we have. It's okay to feel frustrated or weak. Just turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your feelings. Look at Prophet Ayyub alayhi salam, what he said. You don't need complicated words. Even saying, Ya Allah, help me, is an act of sabr and faith. Third, start small and build consistency. Patience is like a muscle. Start small by being consistent in one's acts of worship or self-control. Whether it's praying on time, holding your tongue when you're upset, or staying off your phone during salah. Over time, these small acts make you stronger when bigger challenges come. From Yusuf alayhi salam, we learned that patience leads to forgiveness and success. From Ayyub alayhi salam, we learned that patience brings reward and relief. Both of these prophets endured unimaginable trials, and their patience elevated them in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In our own lives, we face tests, whether it's struggles with family, work, health, or our own hearts. Let's remind ourselves that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with the patient, and that relief always follows hardship. Let's end with this dua from Surah Al-A'raf, ayah 126. Our Lord, pour upon us patience and make us steadfast. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the patience to endure, the strength to preserve, and the faith to trust in His plan. Ameen. Jazakallah khair.